What's crack-lacking? It's your boy Baroshmo, just in case you did not know. So, and the draft is now over. Now let's take a look at some of the undrafted free agents, where they have ended up, some of the top guys that were left on my board. But before we go into all that, go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. You're going to get a 2022 NFL mock draft on Monday. Oh boy. And also I'm going to be doing a 2022 mock draft with Alex from the Hail Mary podcast. So that one's gonna be on his channel. So you're gonna get two different mock drafts. That's just more the prospects. I'm sure he's got some guys on top of his that are a little different than mine. But thank you all for who came out and kicked it with me while we viewed the draft. It was one heck of a week. I'm exhausted, but let me get these videos out for you. Let's go ahead. Let's dive into some of my top guys that did not get drafted. Starting with my top five here are Darius Washington. I figured he would fall, but him falling out of the draft altogether was very surprising. Obviously, a lot of that had to do with, it was kind of a down year for him, and size. I thought that may have been the biggest concern with him. I mean, the NFL probably views him as a high-end slot player, so it doesn't surprise me. Marvin Wilson getting undrafted surprised me quite a bit. We know 2020 was just a bad season for him. A lot of Florida State prospects, as you see the next guy on my list, Tamarian Terry. But still, I think there's a role for him. He's a big nose tackle, very powerful, very strong, with pass rush and upside. I just don't think he's a three-down player, so it was surprising not to see him go off the board. Tamarian Terry falling out of the draft just hurts my heart, man. I was a big fan of his game. 2020 wasn't a great season. He dealt with, well, he wasn't, the scheme there at Florida State wasn't going to help him out much. Actually, not at all. And maybe teams just looked at him like, okay, he's a bigger receiver, bigger vertical threat with a huge catch radius. But, man, the guy can create after the catch. We saw in the screen game. Just, man, he often got a lot of free releases, so there was concern how he would deal with press at the next level, as well as a small route tree. And then Cade Johnson, man, I just got not getting drafted. Like, I think worst case scenario, you're getting a very capable slot receiver with a great, just great route running, great route tree. He had the highest win rate at the Senior Bowl. Just maybe coming from South Dakota, man, knocked him off boards. That surprised me. Austin Watkins was another guy who I kind of anticipated he wouldn't get drafted, but he's a bigger receiver with that runs great routes, sure hands, and it just translates to the NFL level. And it just really surprised me he didn't come off the board. Not really though. There wasn't much hype around him going into the draft. So, but the other four, I was very surprised. Let's just keep going down. Christian Uphoff, small school prospect, but I think he's a safety with pretty darn good movement skills that can play both in the box and free. So him not getting drafted really shocked me. I thought he did enough for his at the Senior Bowl to get him drafted. Jamie Newman, I'm just surprised guys like Sam Ehlinger, Ian Book got drafted over Jamie Newman. The guy, I think his potential arm talent is great in this draft. This guy has great ball placement down the field. Dylan Moses, I mean, with all his upside, granted, it didn't look good last year. There's maybe it was the injury, the ACL injury that kept him out of 2019. Like, remember, this guy used to be considered a first-round talent. And then Trill Williams just felt like a man without a position. He played slot at Syracuse, wasn't going to be his position in the NFL as the outside corner, probably more so a safety. Surprised he didn't get picked up. Drake Jackson, I was very surprised he didn't get picked up because Drew Dahlman, who I considered maybe a value brand, Drake Jackson actually went in the, early fourth round, I think. So, yeah, I'm surprised no one came a knocking for Drake Jackson. But, I mean, those smaller outside zone only centers, yeah, they're not a hot commodity in the NFL, especially ones that are like borderline 300 pounds. And then Shakur Brown, which is weird. I figured he was a corner every NFL team would want. The guy is a fighter. Some people might think he may be only slot only, so maybe that hurt his stock. I'm not sure. David Moore, I'm telling y'all, this guy had only in the last 3 years, I think only about 300 snaps. So I'm just assuming like a lot of these guys that had smaller sample sizes just, I think, got passed on. Chris Brown was a guy I was exceptionally high on, but I heard nothing about in the from the NFL, so it doesn't surprise me he wasn't drafted. Justin Hilliard had a ton of question marks. He had a average, below average pro day. He has a ton of injuries, big injury history, and never played more than 300 snaps in a season, so it didn't surprise me he fell out. Elijah Griffin, I think teams were worried about his weight, man. He's a press corner that is weighing in around, what, 185, maybe sub 180. So there is concern there. And then I'll go over the next 5, and then we'll look at who did get picked up thus far of the undrafted free agents. Jared Patterson didn't find home. What the heck, dude? Like, maybe I could see teams worried about his size and his running style just not being a good fit for the NFL. Jadon Heron is a physical freak that I think could latch onto a roster. He has experience almost at every position on that O-line, so yeah, I was kind of shocked about that. Sedarius Hutcherson, dude's a super athletic guard. Like, I don't know, I thought he would have went. Tariq Thompson had a really bad pro day. Doesn't surprise me he didn't get drafted. I probably should have knocked him down my list. And Kenny Yeboah, I know he's a bit of a tweener, but at 250 with his type of like receiving skills, you definitely thought someone would have taken him. Let's take a look at who got signed, and keep in mind some of these guys some of these guys listed, like they don't list it, like some of them aren't listed yet that have in fact got signed. I'll kind of mention those. Jamie Newman, he's going to the Eagles. That's a great situation because Jalen Hurts, he's going to get an honest shot, but if things go south, Jamie Newman could hear his name being called. Bouchel's really just a depth piece. You could say the same thing about Felipe Franks, but these were probably, yeah, those 3 were the next on my list. Doesn't surprise me nobody wants KJ Costello. Then running back, I really thought the Packers were going to come calling for Javion Hawkins. He's a very good athlete, but a smaller back. Patterson ended up going to Washington, so man, I'm just saying, Peyton Barber, man, your job is in jeopardy. And thus far, it doesn't look like anyone else from the running back class got signed. Okay, a couple. There's the Bengals taking Puka Williams. They don't care about character concerns. Those are the Bengals that I know and remember. And then at wide receiver, Austin Watkins actually got picked up by the San Francisco 49ers, which I really like. Marlon Williams is a big slot with questionable ball skills. These are the 2 that I'm huge on because the Seahawks picked up not only K. Johnson, but Tamarian Terry. That's huge because I had higher grades on those 2 guys than I did their 3rd round, or was it 2nd round pick, Dwayne Eskridge. Boggles my mind. So Terry, he's a vertical separator. At least that's probably how the NFL views him. K. Johnson being a slot that really helps underneath, which is, I think they're kind of more moving towards a horizontal passing scheme to help out Russell Wilson. So I think both those guys could very well make the roster. Jonathan Adams got signed. Maybe he's Kenny Galladay for the Lions. Maybe. WAP going to the Vikings. Good slot guy. Then Imatora Bebe, excuse me, signing with the Jags. He might make the practice squad realistically. I'm surprised Trevon Grimes hasn't signed with a team, but very well by the time this video is out, he could have. Sage Stroud, another contested catch guy. But Ricky Bussey's an interesting addition to the Steelers. And then at tight end, Yeboah going to the Jets. That could be huge. That could be huge. Kerry Angeline. He's like 6'7", 250. He's got a decent body for a blocker, but he's more receiver, like a huge jumbo receiver. So maybe the Cardinals like him in that aspect. Pro Wells, another maybe big. He played big slot at TCU. The Bengals pick him up, so they get a tight end with receiving upside, but he's got the size to be a good blocker. And then the Saints sign in. I'm telling y'all, man, our boy Dylan, was it Soner? Soiner? I don't know. But this guy's like 270 some pounds. Like, I could see him being a swing tackle for the Saints. I'm telling y'all straight up, Adrian Ely, I said he was undraftable. I'm not saying I'm glad to see it. You know, I want these guys to succeed, but called it. And then Drake Jackson going to the Lions was interesting. He's more of a depth piece. David Moore, I think he's going to hang on the roster because Matt Paredes has seen a decline since signing with the Panthers. I wasn't huge on many of the Texas A&M prospects in terms of the offensive line, which is strange because I really like one of their left guard next year in the draft. Who else we got going here? In terms of the edge, Snowden going to the Bears is interesting. Well, I'm not a big fan of Watson. Him going to the Steelers is kind of a whatever move for me, but I did think he was more of a 3-4 inside linebacker. And then Marvin Wilson going to the freaking Browns is huge. What a steal. They snatch him up. He's going to make that roster. I have a feeling. And then Jack Hefline is actually a Northern Illinois grad transfer. Going to the Packers. That's actually low-key not a bad signing. And then the Jaguars take Dylan Moses. That's pretty awesome. Justin Hilliard is an interesting pickup for the Niners. Patty Fisher might stay on with the Panthers as a special teams guy. That's really all I see him as. And then Turf Borland going to the Vikings. Of course, the Vikings were like the most unathletic linebacker in this class. Not too many other guys to really speak of here. At safety, it doesn't say it. Darius Washington signed with the freaking Ravens, dude. I think he comes in and he could compete for that slot spot. Trill Williams to the Saints, low key, could be a really good move. Christian Uphoff to the Packers, I like a lot. Eric Burrow out of Wisconsin. He's gonna be interesting to see what role they have him play for the Saints. Because I really don't see him in the box. He's not athletic enough either to stay there on the back end. Asari Crosswell's an interesting name to watch. Pretty sure teams don't want to touch, like, stupid athletic, but the play never translated on the field, and then he just quit the team essentially. So there's some concerns there in terms of his character. Didn't surprise me he got undrafted, or I don't know if he'll even sign with the squad. These guys are kind of really nothing sign-ins. Corner Brian Mills, the small school prospect, going to the Seahawks. Could make the roster. Bryce Thompson, man, probably gonna end up being a good slot pickup for the Saints, especially if the idea is to move Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to Malcolm to the strong safety spot there with Malcolm Jenkins. So Malcolm Jenkins could be they could release him in the future after this season and kind of just move Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in that role, and then that would make the Bryce Thompson signing pretty solid. Shakur Brown, man, him going to the Steelers, it just makes sense. Like I said, this guy's just a football player. DJ Daniel, I'm pretty confident is going to play safety, play in the box, so not a bad pickup. Mark Gilbert is for the Steelers, boom or bust, man, because this guy's got a lot of injury issues, but man, his pro day was solid. And honestly, that's about it. Riley Patterson going to the Vikings. Good on y'all, Vikings. Y'all need some help with the kickers. But let me know who were some of your favorite free agent sign-ins. And that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. Grades will be out soon as well. And until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.